Hello everyone. Um, Today I've got some more Elden Ring PvP, but from a little bit of a different perspective. I got inspired by another content creator, Perry Weasel, who was doing a solo, like no summon Taunter's Tongue run with a Cadence Sellsword themed build, and I decided to try a little bit of that myself at rune level 90 with my own themed build. This build is a Tsoldera worker from Brightstone Cove in Dark Souls 2. I'll talk about that a little bit more after the fight, but as you can see, we've got a very eager invader. I am working my way through through the exploding barrels, which is very nice because they are a pyro build, so it's very easy for them to explode me. But yeah, I've got a big lumber working axe that I get to swing around with this build, and it's really fun. And the offhand crossbow is really nice, and I think in the next clip I'll show that off a little bit more, and just how useful that is for more PvE stuff, because it can explode barrels from a distance. The axe hyper armor is really nice, but because this is a lower poise fashion set, it is a little bit harder to hyper armor through stuff than what I usually run. But yeah, this is still really fun build. We're just smacking each other, and I'm just having a good time. I love Dark Souls 2. Themed builds are really fun, and this is just a good fight in close quarter space. We're just smacking each other. GG, Mr. Pyro Invader. But yeah, so this build is themed off of the Brightstone Cove peasant workers. And this is just me doing a little bit of PvE navigation. This next invader is not aggressive, because this what happens occasionally when you're doing solo Taunter's Tongues, is you just run into an invader that wants to hang out since you are since you're by yourself. And yeah, so the build details. So Brightstone Cove is it's like a quarry strip mine place where there's a bunch of spiders and other workers. So basically I made this build to be like one of the peasant construction workers from Brightstone Cove. So I have like lumber axes, very basic weapons like a single Partizan, a crossbow, just be like to get me to and from work safely. Like a small shield, and I got my little hard hat and worker boots and gloves. And this guy is just friendly. Like I said a little bit ago, sometimes you just run into invaders that, because you're solo playing the game solo, will just not necessarily be aggressive if you're just playing the level, and they will just hang out with you. And like if you're looking for fights, that can be a little bit annoying, but I find it fun to just hang out sometimes, because as you can see, like I'm coming here about to go and fight Godric, and he's just sitting up on the shelf, and we're having a good time. Oh yeah, and as I mentioned, like the crossbow is really nice for it's like hitting explosive barrels, shooting birds. Yeah, and then the other thing that I have on this build is I've got a small fire dagger, not even the misery cord, because I'm a peasant worker. Why would I have a fancy surgical knife? I just have a regular dagger. To help with crit damage. Here I'm just leaving in the Godric fight because of how annoying he was for War Pick Ring. I want to beat him up and kind of show like how good stance damage is with the heavier weapons, and also show off Prayerful Strike, because I know you saw me use it a little bit in the first fight, but the big thing of Prayerful Strike, which is really useful if you're doing combination PvE, PvP, is it heals you for 30% on hit. So if I just have a ton of HP on this build, so if I land Prayerful Strike, I can get some HP back, which is really nice. And there is a small church congregation boss in Brightstone Cove, Tsoldera. It is very trivial, but I figured like the little cross on the Paige outfit and Prayerful Strike is fitting, especially since Prayerful Strike looks like I'm just like bending my knees and leaning back for a huge chopping up some logs lumber swing. And I've got my torch, and here is just someone who spawned in, I think, yeah, they've got a Vikes. I've got my little Partizan and my axe, and here we go. And like I said, I figured having like a spear to help with wild animals is very fitting for the build, because there are some really nasty boars and spiders in Brightstone Cove. Even though Brightstone Cove is technically run by spiders, I did not make a spider themed build. And here we actually have a rematch with the pyro build from the first one. This was just there will be a small cut here because this was just a very long, grindy fight, but they played really well, and as you'll see in a moment, they were able to they were able to take me down. So GG, good round 2, and it's nice to, I don't know, it's just nice when themed builds go up against each other, and I don't mind losing so long as it's a good fight. Like I said, the cut there was mostly just because that was a very long, grindy fight, and this person, they're just eager, ready to go. They don't know whether or not I'm solo, whether or not I have phantoms waiting in the wings, but here we go. And this one shows off a bit of the power of the Partizan. Storm Assault is just really cool. I like just jumping up and smacking and just like leaping into the air, and it true combos if they get stunned off of the first part. And there is just using Repellent Strike on the big flower to heal up a little bit. Double Whips is really strong, but thankfully I have good mobility and I hit really, really hard. I think there's, I can't remember if it's 40 or 45 strength, but I'll double check and put it in the description on this build. But it's pretty much a vanilla strength build, and it is just an absolute ton of fun. And here I am fighting with my Greatsword Mage, and I have a fun weapon, the just blacksmith hammer. Again, it's a hyper armor weapon, so it would probably be more beneficial if I had armor rather than just basic clothes. But hey, it works. Yeah, this is just a solid, another solid fight. Like, this was just a really fun. It was just a really fun thing to do. Is refreshing to just get some chaotic 1v1s and get like some of the older Souls game experiences by like where you could get invaded as a solo host. And if you're playing, like, if you're doing Taunter's Tongue with blues on, be ready for just some craziness, because if the hunters are away from keyboard and just spawn in without you, like, you're gonna get what's called the reverse gank. I mean, you're going to get ganged up on by both invaders, and it's that can be really rough. So even though it's still kind of chaotic with the NPC enemies, this is much more of a controlled experience. And as you can see, the great sword range is pretty useful against fighting this little blacksmith hammer, but the hammer is very fitting for the build. I love it, and it's just a ton of fun. And although I'm kind of just like doing a lot of my own thing, because this is a for fun content channel, if you guys like seeing Taunter's tongue stuff like this, let me know. GG Invader, hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will catch y'all in the next one. See ya!